Hello everybody. Today I can prepare for my functions tests by practicing. Let's go. Number one, the function v of x equals models the volume in cubic inches, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking for keywords. Boom, maximum. To find the maximum, I use my calculator. I use my second trace menu. So I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to type in the equation x parentheses 3 minus x parentheses x plus 4. Type it in exactly as you see it. You don't need to distribute or box anything. I start with zoom 6. It even tells me here that it wants it from 0 to 3. So you don't have to do this, but you can just automatically make your window, have your x values go from 0 to 3. Now I'm looking for the maximum. Do I see the maximum? No. So I need to adjust my window. I can do it by window or zoom out. I prefer window since I want to see more of the top. The top is y max. X min is left. X max is right. Y min is bottom. Y max is top. I always at least double it. So I'm going to make it from 10 to 20. I see it now. Second trace, maximum. The point I'm trying to find is right around there. So I'm going to make sure I hit the left a bunch of times, so I'm definitely to the left of it. Enter. I'm going to move my cursor so it's definitely to the right of the point I'm trying to find. I want my point to be in between these two dotted lines that were just created. Enter. It says to the nearest 10, so I'm just going to round this off to 1.7, 12.6 for now. I'm also going to draw a little sketch, just that way the grader knows what's going on here. 1.7 to 12.6. As far as showing work, you did second trace, maximum. Now, x coordinate, y coordinate, or both. It's asking for the maximum volume. The function v of x models the volume. Volume is your y value. In general, when they're asking for a minimum or maximum value, it's the y coordinate. Y coordinate, y coordinate. 12.6 is your answer. I know this is risking being confusing here. Almost everything is x, 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 x. Intervals are x. Intersect is x. But if they're asking you for a maximum or minimum value, in this case volume, it even says that v of x is the volume, that's your y. Over which interval is the graph strictly decreasing? Well, I know that it's decreasing when it's going down from left to right. So let's figure out when it's going down from left to right. Let's go to y equals. Let's type it into the calculator. Negative x to the fourth plus 15x squared minus 7. Let's go back to zoom 6. Not a great picture. I'm going to adjust my y max because I want to see more of the top. I'll make that 20. Graph. Not good enough. Let's adjust it again. Let's make it 40. Graph. Not good enough. Let's adjust it again. Again, I always at least double it. Let's go to 80 this time. Graph. I see it. So I can see that it's decreasing. Let me see if I can do this here. It's decreasing from here to here, and then from here to here. So let me just bring this back here. Now, looking at these intervals here, let's just see if I can kind of use some common sense here. Negative 2.7 to 0 looks potentially correct. That looks like that might be this red piece here. Negative infinity to negative 2.5. That piece looks like it is increasing, so that's not going to be it. 2.5 to infinity. Yeah, that might be this red piece right here, so that's possible. Negative 1.4 to 1.2. This is around negative 1.4, 1.2. It's decreasing, then it's increasing, so it can't be that. So I'm down to choices 1 and 3. So this point where it starts decreasing, that's the maximum. So let's find the maximum. Second trace, maximum. Let's get the cursor over there. Left of the point I'm trying to find, enter. Right of the point I'm trying to find, enter, enter. For intervals, it's always x values, so that's negative 2.7. And then the minimum, second trace, minimum, option 3. Enter, that's your left. That's your right, enter. I've got my x value. So this is a little confusing here. That e negative 6, that's 0.000000172. That's 0. It's decreasing from negative 2.7 to 0. That one looks good. I could be sure and find the other maximum to make sure the other one's wrong. Second trace maximum. Left bound. Right bound, enter. Oops, second trace. I think I hit the wrong thing there. Maximum, option 4. I think I hit option 5 by accident. Enter, right bound, enter, enter. I've got 2.73, 2.7. So this one starts at 2.5. That's not correct. It's not decreasing at 2.5. It's still increasing at 2.5. So that one's wrong. All right, let's take a look at number 5. F of x equals g of x. Very, very, very important. You know what to do when you see f of x equals g of x. y1, y2 intersect. When you see f of x equals g of x, that's when you find the intersection. y1, y2 intersect. I go to y equals. I type in the first one into y1, 5 over x minus 3, to parentheses 1.3 to the power of x. I start with zoom 6 because I did so much messing around my window. I'm looking for the intersection. I see it. Second trace, intersect, option 5. Use the left and right cursor. Move it close to that point. Enter, enter, enter. Is it the x value, the y value, or both? X value, x value, x value, x value. As we said in period 3, x no y. X value, never the y for intersection. X, x, x. 3.9. That's your answer. For f of x equals g of x, y1, y2 intersect, x value only. Transformation of functions. You need to know your up, down, left, right rules. F of x plus a, f of x minus a, f of parentheses x plus a, f of parentheses x minus a. If you are adding to the whole thing, that's going up. If you're subtracting from the whole thing, that's going down. If you're adding to just the x, it's the opposite direction you would think for x, that's left. And x minus a, if I'm subtracting from just the x, that's right. So if it wants me to go left 3 and up 2, well, left 3 would be adding 3 to just the x. Up 2 would be adding 2 to the whole thing. So I'm looking for adding 3 to just the x, adding 2 to the whole thing. Choice 2 is your answer. The first one, this is right 3, down 2, left 2, down 3, right 2, up 3, left 3, up 2. A lot of words here, blah, blah, blah. Average rate of y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's all about finding your keywords and phrases. It looks confusing. There's so many words. Average rate of change makes it easy. It has to tell you what you're finding the average rate of change between. It says between the 6th and the 14th hour. So x is 6 and 14. Because it gives me a graph, I pull the corresponding y values from the graph. When x is 6, the y value is 120. When x is 14, the y value is 0. So, bottom minus top. Make sure the y's are on top. Bottom minus top. I go to my calculator. I make it simple. Alpha x, 0 minus 120 over 14 minus 6, negative 15. Explain what it means in the context of the problem. I gave you a script for this. Follow your script. Let's see if I can find a place to write this. I do not see a place to write this. On average, from x to x. So in this case, from hour 6 to hour 14. What's this problem talking about? What's the y topic? The number of pairs of shoes sold. Oh my God. The number of pairs of shoes sold increases or decreases. Since it's minus, decreases by the average rate of change, which is 15. Y units. Well, the y units is pairs of shoes per x unit hour. 15 pairs of shoes per hour. If you want more practice with this, it's just literally substituting into a script. Watch the video for average rate of change with context. I know context isn't the easiest for students, but just substitute into that script on average from x to x, the y topic, increases or decreases. If it's positive, increases. If it's negative, decreases by the average rate of change, y unit per x unit. If it's negative, you say it decreases, but you don't say it decreases by negative 15, you say it decreases by 15. There's different ways to do average rate of change. I'm not going to do all of them. Well, not different ways, but there's different ways it can start. It can give you a graph. It can give you an equation. If they give you an equation, you're going to get your y values from y equals. So I would go to y equals. I would type in 12,000, 1.03 to the power of x. I go to my table, and then I would look at 10 and 20. 10 is 16,127. And 20 is 21,673. And then from there, it's the same thing. So if they give me a graph, pull the values from the graph. If they give you an equation, type it into y equals and pull the values from the table. And if they gave you a table, well, great. Your values are right there in front of your face. Inverse switch x and y, switch x and y. Two ways to do this. I'm going to do it both ways. Inverse switch x and y. Before I can switch x and y, if I'm doing it algebraically, I'm going to write it as y equals instead of f of x equals. Switch x and y. X equals 1/2 y plus 8. And now I solve the equation for y. To get rid of a fraction in an equation, I multiply by the LCD, in this case 2. So that's 2x equals, those two cancel, y plus 16. 2x minus 16 equals y. There's your answer. That's not the way I prefer you to do it, though, especially if you're a weaker student. It's okay to be a weaker student. Inverse switch x and y. So let's get some x's and y's to switch. Let's go to my calculator. Let's go to y equals. Let's type in 1/2 x plus 8. Let's get some points. Go to your table. Let's find like 3 nice points. I've got -2708129, -270829. Switch x and y. If I switch x and y, -27 becomes 7, -2. 08 becomes 80. 29 becomes 92. And now I'm going to look for that table in my answers. I like to go through it one at a time. If you want to try and do all 4 at once, good luck to you. It might be a little too much or it might not. I'll start with 2x minus 8. I look at the table. I'm looking for 7, -2, 80, and 92. 7, -2, nope. I take a look at choice 2, 2x minus 16. I go to my table. I'm looking for 7, -2. Got it. I'm looking for 80. Got it. I'm looking for 92. Got it. Got it. Good. If you don't have the algebra skills, use the calculator. Most of the time this comes up multiple choice. If it comes up open response, then you're still switching x and y. You just got to do a bit of algebra. Number 14. What's happening here? Let's see. This is asking if it is an even function, an odd function, or neither. Even symmetric to y-axis, odd symmetric to the origin. Even is symmetric to the y-axis. Odd is symmetric to the origin. Meaning if I turn it upside down, it'll be exactly the same. Or if I count the points through the origin, they'll land on themselves. If they give you an equation, then just type it into your calculator. Y equals alpha x 1/2 to the power of x. Zoom 6. Is this symmetric to the y-axis? No. If I fold it over the y-axis, it won't land on itself. It's not symmetric to the origin. Neither. And if you want more details on what it means to be symmetric to the y-axis, symmetric to the origin, watch that video, because I'm not going to kind of go through that in detail right now. But I do go through that in detail on the video for that lesson, and it's a pretty short lesson. -x squared plus 4, y equals -x squared plus 4, zoom 6, even symmetric to y-axis. Yup, if I fold it over the y-axis, it will land on itself, therefore it is even, because it's symmetric to the y-axis. What would be nice would be to see a little sketch of it from the calculator as far as showing your work. And finally, one more, number 16, 2 over x, y equals alpha x, 2 over x, zoom 6. Even symmetric to y-axis. Nope. Odd symmetric to the origin. Yes, this is symmetric to the origin. If I turn it upside down, I will see the exact same thing. Let's see if I can do that quick. Oops. If I take it and I turn it upside down, I see the exact same thing. If I pick a point and count to the origin, so like this point right here, I'm going left 2 down a little bit, left 2 down a little bit, it lands on itself. That's what symmetric to the origin means. So it is odd because It's symmetric to the origin. Again, including a sketch would be great. That's how we do even, odd, or neither. Even, symmetric to y-axis, odd, symmetric to the origin. Inverse, switch x and y, switch x and y. Check me out on Apple Music, YouTube, Spotify. I'm nuts, I know. We got a couple of review topics. The expression. There's variables in the problem. There's variables in the answers. So I'm going to store a value for x. I probably have one stored already. I'm going to type in the original problem. X plus I squared minus x minus I squared. I've got 40i. I'm going to type in each choice. There's no point in typing in choice 1 and 3 in this example because they're going to give me 0 and -2. Choice 2, -2 plus 4xi. I'm looking for 40i. That's -2 plus 40i. That's not the same thing. Let's try choice 4. Let's hope. 4xi, 40i. 40i, 40i, it matches. That's your answer. I'm not going to even go over it algebraically. Which value is not contained in the solution set for a 3x3 system? 3x3 system, that's your polysimult 2. To get there, we go to apps. We go to polysimult 2. For me, it's option 9. Yours, it might be somewhere else. Option 2, simultaneous equation solver. It defaults to 2 and 2. Make sure it's on 3 and 3. We see the bubbles, the top gray buttons we use. So next is above the graph button. I input the system. 4, enter, enter. Don't type on the pluses. If it's minus, put negative. -5, enter, enter. It gets confusing if you put the minus on top of the plus. +2, enter. 130, enter. 3, enter, enter. 2, enter, enter. -7, enter. -99. 10, enter, enter. -6, enter, enter. -4, enter. 112, enter. We see solve on the right-hand side. We use the graph button to access that. X equals 10, y equals -12, and z equals 15, which is not contained in the solution set. Well, I see 10, I see -12, I see 15. I don't see -8. -8 is your answer. I think that's it. Yup. So, the 2 review questions, both of them calculator strategies to do your 3x3 system, polysimult 2 and apps. Whenever you want to know if expressions are equal, type the original in, type each answer and see what matches. Even, symmetric to y-axis, odd, symmetric to the origin. Type it into y equals if they give you an equation. Inverse, switch x and y, switch x and y. Whether you're doing it algebraically by switching x and y in the equation and then solving for y, or you're typing the original into y equals and writing some points down, you're switching x and y in the table, and you're typing each choice in and seeing which has that switched x and y table. Average rate of y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If they give you a table, you have your values in your table. If they give you an equation, type that into y equals and pull the y values from the table in the calculator. If they give you a graph, pull the y values from the graph. Bottom minus top over bottom minus top. Follow your script for the context sentence. Know your up, down, left, right rules. Adding or subtracting to the whole thing, up and down. Adding or subtracting to just the x, left and right. Opposite direction as what you would think for the x only. They're right there. f of x equals g of x, y1, y2 intersect x value only, aqui no y. For increasing, decreasing, find the max and the min, the x coordinates of those. That will tell you where it's increasing or decreasing. And keywords to find the maximum, go to your calculator, adjust your window, and find the maximum. And if it's asking you for the maximum value or maximum volume or maximum height, y value, y value, y value. Not that hard of a topic. It's just a matter of knowing all the rules and knowing all your songs, knowing how to use your calculator. Make sure you know how to do that. Practice. You know exactly what's going to be in your exam. Make it happen, my friends. Goodbye.